Rated M. For murder!
Team Beardman versus Far Cry 3. The Rumble in the Jungle!
Welcome to another episode of Here Comes a New Challenger. Now, for those of you guys who have not seen the first episode of Here Comes the New Challenger, a little annotation for you guys, but, little thing. For those of you who don't know what it is, this show essentially is a review show. It's not as comedic based. It's also not focusing on the ideals of 100% completing a game. It is simply my opinion and Greg's opinion of a journalistic approach to brand new games, whether they be indie or a AAA title from a major distributor. So guys, all bear jokes aside, let's go ahead and give it a shot. Now last time on Here Comes a New Challenger, we featured an indie game, but this time we have a brand new title from a major distributor. This game has been hailed as the Skyrim of guns, brought to you by the same guys who gave us Assassin's Creed. This week, we have a fresh title, straight from the guys down at Ubisoft, Far Cry 3. My first impression of Far Cry 3 is that it looks and feels just like every other FPS on the market, mixed with elements of the Uncharted series. Prior to Far Cry 3, we've had two previous installments in the Far Cry series, Far Cry and Far Cry 2. The first Far Cry features a somewhat unique story pitting the main character against mutated wildlife and mercenaries, both of which are exposed to drugs that stem from something labeled as Project Far Cry. Our protagonist must save his employer as well as uncover the mysteries of the island, a pretty cool concept overall.
Far Cry 2 has little to no connection with the first, with a completely different set of characters in a different place altogether. The protagonist is a hired assassin with his crosshairs set on an infamous arms dealer on the African plains.
Considering the lack of connection between these two titles, I have no idea what to expect from the story in Far Cry 3. The only thing I can tell that ties these three games together is the title and their environments. Jason Brody is enjoying a vacation in the Pacific Islands with family and friends when all of a sudden during a skydiving trip, they are all captured by a notorious drug lord named Voss, who plans to ransom, sell into slavery, and most likely murder all of them at some point. After killing Jason's brother right before his eyes, Voss lets Jason go just for the pure sadistic fun of it all. After plummeting to near death off of a falling bridge, Jason awakes in the care of the island locals, branding him as one of their own. Jason must band together with his new allies if he wants to survive and find whatever is left of his companions. This clearly is much stronger than any of the three storylines in my opinion, and from the moment the game starts, it's obvious that the storytelling is at its finest. Watching the rise and fall of an American boy gone savage is very interesting, and it reminds me a little bit of Lord of the Flies. The more gruesome the adventure, the more removed from society Jason becomes.
Graphically, Far Cry 3 is pretty impressive, but at times it can get choppy. This usually happens in the fields or hill portions of the terrain. Also, the frame rate seems to drop significantly during the cutscenes. Now, this may be because we're playing on the PS3 version. I would assume that the PC version is able to smooth out these issues. However, this shouldn't knock the overall enjoyment of the game. Not only are the controls very solid and comfortable, but the voice acting and the characters are well fleshed out. The fact that the whole world is preloaded makes the gameplay that much more immersive. Not having to deal with loading screens in between missions keeps this game moving at a smooth and constant pace.
One of my favorite features in this game is how you heal after taking damage. Whenever your health bar goes down, instead of refilling over time, you have to manually heal yourself. The great part is that you get to visibly see how Jason mends his wounds, ranging from wrapping a bandage around a cut, to cutting out a bullet out of your own flesh, to even readjusting your own broken wrist back into place. These gruesome little sequences really add a gritty and realistic feel to your experience.
In terms of gameplay, there are three specific things that are really worth mentioning: exploration, skills and upgrades, and missions and vehicles. Let's discuss exploration. Now, Ubisoft is known for finessing the open-world genre of exploration via Assassin's Creed. In Assassin's Creed, one would expand their map by scaling tall towers and using eagle vision to scout out the land. While Far Cry 3's world isn't nearly as expansive, the same element applies through the use of radio towers. It even uses a similar epic swoosh pan to display the surrounding area.
One of Far Cry 3's most interesting elements is the skills and upgrades. Like in other first-person shooter RPGs, your character traits are determined by 3 separate skill trees, each representing a style of combat. You'll level up by doing missions and killing enemies, and you can gain bonus experience by meeting certain perimeters such as headshots or silent takedowns. When you level up, you gain skill points which you can use to pick new skills and perks. You can get some pretty awesome abilities through these trees that make you feel really empowered and show the progression of Jason from city boy to hardened tribal killer. Something that I find really cool is that your skills are directly related to your status within the gang. As a result, with every skill you purchase, your tribal tattoo visibly expands to match the change. When you first start the game, you have 0 perks and a single gun, and it makes you feel a little helpless. The first major steps to becoming stronger start with the animal hunting. When you hunt and kill wild animals such as deer, boar, leopards, and even sharks, you can skin them and use their skin to upgrade your equipment such as your ammo pouch, wallet, and probably the most useful, your gun straps. Every time you acquire skins to complete a recipe, the next level up becomes available. Some of the later upgrades require extremely rare animal skins, and more often than not, these are only obtainable through high difficulty challenges, such as killing the rare black panther with only a bow and arrow. Nothing like killing endangered species, like tigers.
There are several missions and collectibles that you can do at any point during the storyline. These can be anything from finding a radio tower to assassinating a wanted man to clearing out one of Vaz's drug bases and taking it over, and even side quests that give you more information on the main story. These missions are entertaining, rewarding, and definitely add hours of extra playtime. The vehicles, for the most part, are a great way to get around the island quickly. The hang glider and the wave runner are fun to use and get you where you want to go fast. I find that driving the motorcycle and the car can be a challenge and in some cases a total pain. The upside is that they both handle like real-life vehicles. Unfortunately, the downside is that they both handle like real-life vehicles. You drive in a first-person perspective, so the depth perception is a bit difficult to get used to. Aside from this, the slightest overturn can send you into a tree or rolling off a cliff. It gets easier once you get a feel for it, but you'll definitely feel out of control when you start. Far Cry 3 is actually quite refreshing. It brings a lot of new light to an older franchise. The open world exploration, the leveling system, and the overall performances by the actors provide a lot of interesting and great points.
What game does not have flaws? The game does suffer from some bad frame rates during actual cutscenes, some of the visuals look a tad bit sluggish at times, and the vehicles are a little bit tricky to handle. But with all these little nitpicky flaws, Far Cry 3 is one game that this holiday season I definitely recommend.
With that in mind, this game gets our rating of Buy It. Far Cry 3 will be available for purchase on the PS3, 360, and PC platforms on December 4th.
That's it for today, guys. If you liked our video review of Far Cry 3, go ahead and let us know in the comments below. Like, favorite, subscribe, Face, Twit, Tamblegram, all that social networking stuff. And as always, guys, I'll see you next week for a brand new episode of The Completionist. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going shark hunting. Sharks! What is a shark? Oh, it's the street sharks. The street sharks! Oh.
Hey guys, just real quick, we wanted to thank Ubisoft for sending us Far Cry 3. We're really honored that they wanted us to review it. And if you guys are interested in Far Cry 3, check out their Facebook page in the link below. And they're giving away some copies of the game and some other great prizes like a computer. Alright, see you guys next week. Oh my god, it's a shark!